Hello, this is Reverend Kirti, and welcome to Reincarnation Mechanics. This is the course that will teach you all about past lives, future lives, karma, life lessons, soul groups, the whole shebang. We're going to go through it all, and this is, of course, Module 1. This is our very first lesson. I'm so excited, and I hope you are too. This has been lives-changing for me. I will never get tired of that joke. I'd apologize, but I'm really not sorry. And so I hope that it's the same for you. As you learn to go through your past lives and visit your future, you will become more aware, you will have more conscious direction and control over your life, and you will heal so you can experience more safety and happiness right now, the only moment you really have anyway. So let's just dive on in. What you're going to learn in this video: how past lives affect the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual experience that you are having now in this life. What is karma? Hint, it is not punishment. And by the way, if you saw the registration page and my big old typo where I said it was punishment and you didn't tell me, I'm fake glaring at you. I noticed that just a few days ago and I felt completely embarrassed. So if you did notice that, oops, sorry, it is not punishment. I promise karma has nothing to do with punishment. And if you didn't see it, now you know that sometimes I'm not the best proofreader, which is why I have other people proofread it for me. It just missed both of us. So, moving along, the exact process to visit a past life. This is going to walk you step by step through what to expect. Of course, you'll have the recorded meditation as well, but I really love to spell out the process so you can understand. And the real reason that I do this is because every single person experiences this just a little bit differently. So if you can see all the steps broken down, with practice, you will know which ones are really wonderful for you to do and which ones aren't as necessary, which ones really don't fit your personal style and your personal method for accessing your past and future lives. You'll find your own way and it's going to be beautiful. But I will give you the exact step-by-step process so you know exactly what to do at the beginning here. Okay, so how past lives affect the big four. So the big four, by the way, are the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual patterns that we have in this life. That's the big four. So physical, it can affect birthmarks. Sometimes we have a birthmark where we were injured or something important happened to the physical body in a past life. Sometimes phantom pains come up because there's an old spiritual wound that is hanging around that hasn't been fully healed. Sometimes genetic illnesses manifest because of a past life where something again happened and we get a genetic illness to assist in that healing. So we manifest the illness and then we can heal the root cause. Recurring physical conditions, for instance, acid reflux. If you have massive acid reflux that recurs when you have stress, sometimes this is because of a past life. Now, here is the thing that I want to make sure is super clear right now. This is not a guarantee that you're going to have a perfectly healed body according to medical standards after this course. I cannot possibly guarantee that. And on top of that, I don't have a perfectly quote unquote healed physical body, but I can tell you I have a lot of peace. The two conditions that I do have, I feel fantastic about. I don't have any regret. I don't have any ill feelings. And part of that is because I've done this work. So again, I'm not promising physical healing, although that does sometimes happen. Don't rule it out. But I am promising that I can assist you in experiencing more peace around anything that you have that cannot be healed in this lifetime. Certain genetic things aren't able to be healed in this lifetime. A lot of things can, but again, I want to make that very clear so there's not miscommunication here. All right, let's jump into the mental. The mental processes that will bleed over from past lives include recurring thoughts that don't make any sense. For instance, one of them is, he's following me. That's one that I have from a past life where I was being followed quite a bit. No one's following me in this life. There's not a single person who follows me. My cats are a different story. They always think I'm going to give them a treat, so they follow me. But humans don't. But I have that recurring thought because of a past life. Next, disorders where thoughts get stuck, especially on repeat. Think things such as OCD, sometimes this happens because of a past life trauma, and then it gets stuck on a loop because it's really important to heal it. Other times, lack and abundance consciousness is created in a past life. Now, this is usually a lack consciousness. You may hear sirens going off. I have no control over that. I do apologize. But for instance, if in a past life you decided to become a nun and you had a deeply spiritual mission and you completely wanted to be a human being who sat and meditated all day for decades, then you may have become a nun. And then you would have taken on a poverty contract. Basically, you have decided to be in poverty. Now, in this lifetime, you may no longer want to be a nun. You may be getting on the bandwagon where we are saying there is enough for everybody, including me. And it is okay to want things that are nice or considered luxurious. And you may discover that there's just that old pattern resurfacing that isn't completely healed. So that can be a mental past life footprint. It's a common one. So next we have emotional. This includes phobias. So if you have a full-on phobia, then sometimes this is because of a past life. Unexplained fears that are not as intense as phobias, that they sometimes come up because of past life stuff. So, for instance, someone who was drowned in a past life, or they did drown in a past life, may have a phobia of water because that's how they perished in a previous life. They never had a chance to heal it. It just wasn't something they had a chance to heal. They passed on, they got back to peace, and then they jumped on back into a new life. And this time, the soul remembers, and then on some level, there's that cellular memory. There's that energetic imprint of the fear of water, and that comes through. And so it's coming up to be healed. Unexplained fears that aren't as intense as phobias. For instance, if you have a random fear of the grocery store, I do not actually have this fear. It makes me a little nervous, but that's because I'm an empath. But if you have a random fear of the grocery store, then this could be about a marketplace in a past life where you had a bad experience. And so that is one way that it can manifest. And if you have followed me for a long time, you know I talk about fears in grocery stores a lot. Welcome to my brain. Next, the emotional connections with other humans. This is your soul group, and usually we energetically and emotionally notice someone who's a part of our soul group. Our hearts beat faster. We know this person. We feel it on every level of our being. It's visceral. It's emotional. We feel that emotional connection even before we've really started to get to know this person. And also one of them that didn't get put down in the slides, but is absolutely true, is a feeling of being somewhere before. If you visit a place that was a common place for you in a past life, you used to live there, then you can have that sense of home in a place you've never visited, or it will feel oddly familiar. So that is completely normal for a past life. Next, the spiritual. I love this one. So first, your connection to source energy. This is really important. Depending on what happened, because of your connections to God or the universe or whatever you want to call source energy, it can interfere with your ability to connect in this life. So for instance, if you had a very negative experience with source energy in the past, and I usually mean being persecuted because of your connection to source, not necessarily source was mean to you, because that's not really what happens. But if you were persecuted, then it can feel odd or difficult to connect with source energy again, or to communicate that connection to others. Next, your ability to connect with your deepest truth. This is something I see a lot in people who are persecuted for their spiritual beliefs before, is that ability to connect with our deepest truths, because for millennia, certain human beings have created the habit of persecuting those who are connected to their deepest truths and then speaking it even when it's unpopular. It's been kind of a social standard that we just don't really do that. But the beauty is that it really can be healed. And on top of that, if you actually had a good experience, I'm talking a lot about the negative experiences because most people don't sign up for a course like this when everything is fine and dandy and beautiful. Usually it's because you want to heal something, right? Which is why we spend so much on the healing. So if you had a beautiful connection in multiple past lives, then that can bleed through too. So it's really easy for you to connect with your deepest truth. And so if you've been practicing that for multiple lives, then that ability will bleed through. Same thing for healing energy. A lot of healers are attracted to past life exploration because it assists them in their healing journey. And that goes to which spiritual gifts you can access. So if you've been an energy healer many times in the past, then it's really easy to connect to energy as a healing modality in this life. It's a beautiful way to live. And also, if you've never done it before, then you kind of have to start from scratch and start building that. And also, if you had a spiritual gift and you were majorly persecuted for it or hated on because of it, then sometimes we close that off to remain safe. It's a safety mechanism. So again, I promise you can heal it. So that is simply how it works. All right, so let's jump on into karma. I'm going to spend quite a bit of time talking about this throughout the course, but especially right now. Karma is basically the statement that as you have sown, so shall you reap. That's past tense. We're talking about past lives right now. So if you're talking about a future life, as you sow, so shall you reap. So as you sow right now, then you will reap that in the future. So whatever you create right now, whatever seeds you sow in your life and other people's lives, that is what you're going to reap sometime in the future. And if you're very in tune, you can start reaping it now. All right. What karma is not. It is not punishment for being bad. Absolutely not. It is not a way for God, the universe, your ex from a past life to get back at you. This is not about revenge. I promise you. I have worked with quite a few people with past life and karma issues, and especially if part of their soul group isn't necessarily nice in this lifetime, it's easy to see a pattern and then believe that the ex is there to punish you for whatever reason. It's not true. Those people who are not the nicest to you in this life, there is a purpose for it, but it is not because you're a terrible human being, all right? Torture. It is not torture to make sure that you feel guilty forever and ever and ever, or something else bad might happen to you if you don't hang on to that guilt. That is not what karma is, not even a little bit. And karma is not a reason to beat yourself up. That is number one here. Please be compassionate to yourself, especially if you discover that in a past life, you were not a perfect human being that did perfect, nice things all the time. All right? And guess what? You're going to have a chance to heal that throughout this. So it's going to be fantastic. More on karma. I have a lot to say about this. Karma's only purpose is to teach you a lesson. Period. End of story. You can learn past life lessons and heal those open wounds. And karma was simply trying to teach you. And so I'm going to talk about the flow of karma in just a minute. But the reason you want to heal those open wounds is number one, it feels better whenever you're healed. This now moment will feel a lot better whenever you allow yourself to experience the wholeness and completeness that you already are. And the karma, especially if it's something that we would term bad karma, I'm using air quotes, because it's unpleasant karma, then as soon as the lesson is learned and integrated, then you're good. And guess what? Integrated lessons equals funner karma. Yes, I know funner isn't a word, but it totally fits right here because you will have better karma. It will feel better and the lessons will flow a little easier. And here is the flow. Here's how it flows. Karma's only purpose is to teach a lesson. End of story. It's not supposed to be mean. It's not trying to be mean. This is the setup. The big universe is like, oh, this is the lesson that you want to learn. Let's give a gentle and fun way to learn this. And then it tries to give you a nice, fun way to learn your life or soul lesson. And then it's ignored. That nudge, that little nudge is ignored. The big you kind of sits there and is like, this lesson is really, really, really super important. So let's try a harder nudge. Harder nudge happens, and it is also ignored. And the big you wonders if you fell asleep at your human wheel. Your human is not fully being steered by spirit, maybe. So maybe we just need a big nudge, gotta wake you up. So huge nudge. And then the big nudge is ignored. And so it just kind of hits you. It hits you hard. It hurts, but now you're paying attention. You can really hear the lesson and the love underneath it. Hopefully, that's why you're in this course. That's how we're going to get through it. Beginner mistake with karma, especially if you've been in a New Age circle for a while, then there's a little bit of conflicting information here. One of it is if you are positive all the time, then positive things are going to happen. And if you use magical thinking, then you will get out of the life lessons. So here's the deal. Karma has nothing to do with positivity or negativity. It is completely neutral. If you try to be positive all the time, I'm going to use an example here that really illustrates it. So for instance, the law of attraction is simply like attracts like energy attracts like energy. If you have something underneath and you're putting a happy face on top, it does not necessarily affect what's underneath unless you actually take the time and energy to clear out whatever is going on the inside. So this is like me saying my affirmations in my mirror and going, woohoo, my laundry is done. And getting really excited and pumped up. And then I go and sit at my computer and watch Netflix all day, right? Now, what's the problem here? Now, the problem is that I actually have access to a washer and dryer and all the tools I need to clean the laundry. And I'm using affirmations inappropriately. I'm not taking action on the things I could be. Now, I'm not saying that you necessarily have to do your own laundry, whether it's cleaning up karma, etc. You can always hire it out as well. For instance, I could call a service to come over and take the clothes away, and they can come back clean and folded and all nice and neat. That's completely an option. But the thing is that I am still in charge of part of that. I still am the one who needs to make the call or needs to choose to do the laundry myself or choose to ask someone to assist me with it. For instance, I could ask my amazing husband, James, to help me with the laundry. But the positive thinking, the purpose of positive thinking is to get you in the right place to see solutions. So whenever I'm doing my affirmations, if laundry is a huge problem and for whatever reason, I don't know how to do it, then doing positive affirmations assists me in seeing what actions to take. So the magical thinking is always going to be matched by appropriate action. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So if that doesn't make sense, send me an email. To avoid this mistake, especially when working with karma, you want to welcome the old so that you can see it clearly without emotional charge. Without that pain, that natural reaction of shame or guilt or anything negative. You want to have equanimity. And this allows you to release the pain and allow the truth and the lesson to filter through. The lesson is always beautiful. I promise. I promise it is. It's worth it to create that space and trust that you are enough so you can hear that lesson no matter what it is. Okay, I hope that makes sense. How to visit past lives. So this is how you do the meditation on your own. Again, I told you I'm going to break it down step by step. And as you practice it, I do recommend that you practice it step by step the first time for sure. And if you don't like doing guided meditations, you like to guide yourself, do it step by step once and then shift it as feels appropriate to you after you do it once. You'll know which things need to be tweaked. I trust your intuitive knowing, but I do want to make sure you have all the steps so that you can do it in a way that feels wonderful to you. First, you want to do 3 to 5 minutes of relaxation meditation. This allows you to clear the mind and clear the energy after you feel relaxed. Only when you're feeling relaxed. You want to breathe in white or gold light to clear your energy. And the white or gold light, you just want to breathe that in wherever you feel tense, or if you're a visual person, you want to see where any darkness is. And you don't want to overthink this. Just assume you're going to do it right. Trust you're going to do it right. Ask for a guide to show up. Once you feel clear and relaxed, you want to ask for a guide to show up. And you can take some time getting to know this guide if it's a new guide, or you can simply say, hi, how are you, and get to it. It's completely up to you. And there's not a wrong way to do that portion. And you want to ask to be taken to a past life that will be helpful for you right now. And usually a blue tunnel will appear. So you can either imagine or wait for it. I trust it's there regardless of whether you feel like you're making it up or whether you're simply waiting for it to appear. Don't worry about that. That's why your guide is there. So don't worry about that portion. You want to go into the blue tunnel. And just a quick note, everyone experiences these things just a little bit differently. So just imagine a blue tunnel, but if you aren't a visual person, you don't see a blue tunnel in your mind's eye, don't worry about it. I promise you're doing it just fine. Again, that's why the guided meditation is here as well. Then you go into this tunnel. Once you're in the blue tunnel, you want to wait to reemerge on the other side into whatever past life you chose to visit. Now, while you're still in the tunnel, you want to trust you will reemerge in the perfect time or place. And this is a verb. Trust is a verb in this particular action step. You are actively affirming to yourself and to the universe that you will reemerge in the perfect time and place. If you like affirmations, you can say the words in your mind. If you are a very energy feeling person, simply feel that trust and affirm it energetically. And it doesn't matter how you do it, just trust you will reemerge. And then you allow the past life to materialize around you. So it'll start showing up, bits and pieces will come forward. And then you want to find your comfortable zone. This is where you feel most in control and comfortable in this space. So you want to either be fully in it, where you're experiencing your life in first person, you are in your past life 100% and you're looking around you as your past life self. Or you want to look from above and watch your past life self as though you're watching a TV episode or something else. Now, again, it doesn't matter which one you do. It matters that you find what is best for you. Whatever allows you to feel most comfortable is perfect, whole, and complete. Once you find your comfortable level, ask to be shown important things in that particular past life and use your intuition for what's important. Assume that if you skip something, that it simply wasn't important for you right now. So ask about your soul group. Again, this is the people that you now know in this life that were also present in this past life. Ask about your name in this life. Ask about the time period and place in the world. Ask for any important lessons and your occupation. And you can ask anything else that comes to mind. Like, for instance, did you have children? Were you married? Who did you know? Were there any historic figures that were around at that point? Anything that feels good to ask, feel free to ask. That's why your guide is there. They will guide you to the appropriate time in that past life so you can have those answers. And if there are any lessons or anything else you would like to integrate, ask for help to integrate that. Now, you don't have to do this. We aren't going deep into integration this time, but it is a step that you can do at this point. So if you want to integrate, for instance, if you had a big revelation from this past life, absolutely take time to integrate it. Once you feel complete, go back through the blue tunnel and slowly become aware of your body and surroundings. Now, as soon as you are feeling grounded and aware once again, take notes about your experience, write it out. There's been many studies that show that anytime you write after an experience, it really solidifies the lessons that you learned. So don't be shy about doing that. All right, here's the quickie review about what we just talked about. We talked about how past lives affect the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual experience that you are having now. Sometimes we have birthmarks or phantom pains. We also can have recurring thoughts that don't fit this life. That's the mental portion. And emotionally, we can feel connected to our soul groups, or we can have irrational fears or phobias. And finally, spiritual experience is as well influenced. So how connected you experience, how well you experience your connection to source is influenced by your past lives, as well as what gifts you are able to access and utilize. Karma is simply about life lessons. So it is as you sow, so shall you reap. The whole point of karma is to teach you a lesson, and it doesn't have to be painful. And to visit a past life, go ahead and go through the process that we just went over. or use the guided meditation. Both are perfect. You cannot do it wrong. So what we're going to learn next in the next video, what past life trauma is. So we're going to talk about what causes trauma, etc. And then we're going to talk about the benefits of healing past life trauma, how difficult people play a role in your healing, especially the person who is annoying, especially if you find someone this week who is in your life right now and who is kind of annoying or hopefully not, but possibly abusive. What is the role? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to find traumatic past lives on purpose and how to meditate for past life trauma and healing. We will be doing a lot more integration next week and the week after that. So that's what you're going to learn next. So your next steps is to listen to the past life exploration meditation and then write down notes from your experiences after you go through it. I will see you next week.